Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. I'm just going to talk tonight basically about those that are on the very, very first step of their journey. Those people that have probably seen or sensed spirit over the years and would like to start to work with spirit and maybe progress from there and do readings, demonstrations, or maybe just for yourself, just to sit and sense and feel that energy. There are no rules to this. If you buy a million books, you'll probably get a million definitions of how to sit for spirit. And many of my students that I work with talk of the conflicting ideas of different mediums, which literally just causes them nothing but confusion. So it's a good idea, and I say this probably too often, but it's a good idea to start with a blank canvas. So start painting that picture for you, what works for you, not what you've been told. There are no strict methods of communication. The only one thing that you need to do more than anything is to sit within that energy, within that spirit energy that is around us all. Easier said than done. I hear many of you say, well, I'm sitting and I sit silently, but I don't sense a thing. It's important that when you sit, you ask spirit to work with you. We can't just sit, concentrate on breath, and expect something to happen immediately. Because the chances are, unless you're very lucky, chances are nothing will happen. If you just sit without sending out that intention of why you're sitting, then in a sense, you're just sitting quietly for the sake of it. Now, as I've said, there are no rules. It is all about you sitting in that silence, starting with that blank foundation, that blank canvas, and working, asking, communicating. And I say communicating because it may well feel like you're talking to yourself in a sense. But that veil is a very, very thin veil indeed. Okay, there is not a lot of effort needed to cross that veil. The key to crossing the veil, that mergence of energies, is an open heart, good intention, and communication. Communication may sound a bit strange, but it's important that our intention is communicated to the energy around us. So when we sit in our silence for spirit, then it's important that we send that intention out there. As you sit down, wherever you sit, in the lounge, in the kitchen, wherever it may be, just before you sit, send out that thought. Okay, Spirit, I'm sitting for you to learn more about you, for you to learn more about me, and to enhance my ability of communication with you. So you say it, you think it, you send that thought out there. That thought is a vibration that will reach that energy just across the veil. It is the thought process that Spirit pick up upon. Not just the light energy that you are giving as you sit, but there is also that communication vibration that is needed for your intention to be sensed. So as you sit, you send out that thought, asking Spirit to draw close, and then allow. Do not expect, just allow. As you sit in that silence with self, you will, after time, start to sense a presence. If you have sent that intention out, that will be heard. It will be picked up upon. If we try and put things in a logical way, the energy that we are working with as mediums is identical to the energy that is within us. Our own spiritual being that is within us is exactly what we're trying to communicate with across the veil. Another spiritual energy. So when we are allowing our own spirit self to step forward, we are expanding it to a degree that spirit can merge with that, an identical energy as to what you are allowing to step forward. Spirit's energy is no different than the energy that is within us, except obviously that energy exists without body of matter, but it is identical. So we are literally putting out there the same energy as what is drawing close to us. Spirit, soul, self, being. So, many of you, and I know this from my teaching experience, really struggle sometimes with the sitting in the power. And as I've said, and you're probably very bored of it, I like to call it sitting with self for spirit. We are not sitting there to the point of exploding in energy. Trying our hardest to see something or hear something, to sense something. There is no effort with this. It is a gentle exercise. There should be no frustration. There should be no pushing, no reaching out and struggling, and there's none of that involved. This is a natural thing. You are just allowing it to be free. The very essence of spirit itself is free. It is a free entity, if you like. So, by all means, whilst you're sitting with self, that concentration of breath is very important, so use that. It simply will focus you and allow you to just be. You will relax. So when you're in that state of relaxation, remember to gently send out that intention. Spirit, I'm sitting for you. I wish to sense you better. I wish to see you better. I wish to hear you better. I'm here to learn. And as you sit in that peace, you will sense that presence, that warmth, that light, and just allow it to draw closer and just allow it to merge with you. So the self part of who you are, your spirit, your soul, is what you are putting out there, so that the very same can merge with it. It takes time. There are many different methods of sitting in the power, and I'm sure you've read many different books and watched many videos on the sitting in the power technique. When we look at many of the religious figures that we've read about and we've heard about through many religions, when you look at some of the pictures we see, even of some of the gurus, if you like, that are quite well known at the moment, when we see them sitting in that peaceful state, you can sense from the picture itself of them doing that, you can sense that peace. You can see it. And that is what you are trying to achieve. You are not sitting in meditation as such, because there is an element of awareness as you are sitting in that peaceful state. You are not really focusing inwardly, but you are more focusing outwardly. So you are aware of your surroundings to some degree. I don't mean materially, I mean that the surroundings of energy, the energy that surrounds you, you're aware of that, and you are not necessarily focusing on it, but what you are doing is you are observing it. Observation is something that you need to be able to focus on. If you focus and observe your surroundings whilst you're sat in that peace and that energy, it will help quieten the mind, because the mind does struggle with observing something deeply and chatting away at the same time. In other words, many of you say sometimes while I'm sitting, a thought will come and just disturb me what I'm doing. But if you are observing that space that you are sat within, obviously eyes closed, but you are observing, because there are many things that happen with your eyes closed. You know, lots of people talk of colours, lights. Just observe, because while you are observing these, your mind will be silent. Many of the people that we've read about and we see who sit quite regularly do not generally use the phrase of sitting in the power. And you very rarely hear some of the gurus, and you very rarely read, especially in some of the holy books, about them going off and sitting in the power. They simply sit with self. And that is something that you need to try and grasp. You are not sitting there trying to burst a blood vessel in pushing energy out for spirit to attach itself to. That is not the case. You are literally allowing that spirit within self, within you, you are setting it free. And by setting it free, you will then be putting out a light energy for spirit to merge with. There are things that you might find help you to do this. And it does not matter what it is. So don't worry about maybe little habits that you have to allow that to flow, or the visualizations that you may create yourself to allow that to happen, to allow that to flow. Like I said, there are no rules for this, because it's a personal thing that you are trying to achieve. It is a personal relationship you are trying to form with your guides, your helpers. And in order for us to become one with the energy, the source that flows through everything, in order for us to be able to achieve that, we need to find that source within ourselves first, to allow it to be free and allow it to flow into life's source around us, if you like, so it can blend. It can blend with an energy that is naturally part of us, that flows through us. You can describe it in a way like a glass of water. So if you was, for argument's sake, by a river, you scooped up that glass of water. We have the glass, which is the material, holding the water, the natural water. And what we are trying to do is allow that water back into the river so that it can flow again. So the glass is the body, the water is the soul, the river is the source. Within that glass, there is part of source. And all we are going to do is put that source back where it originates from. And that is what we are doing when we are sitting with self. We are allowing that soul back into its natural habitat, if you like. We are allowing it to flow back to source, so energy within source, spirit within source can then merge with it. So we've got to obviously get in the habit of spending time sitting with self, allowing that self free. We are doing nothing really but confusing ourselves when we speak of expansion. We are not expanding anything. We may well visually think we are, because we can visually have a light and expand that out. Many struggle with that. You need to allow the water from that glass to be tipped back into the river. That's simply all you are doing. When we are born, that water in the glass is encased with, in other words, body. Our souls, our spirits are encased within material, within matter. The glass that contains the water is the body. The water is the soul. And we will tip it back to source and allow it to flow and merge back with from where it came. So be patient, sit, allow, just be in your moment, because this is your journey. Do not allow the confusion. Many of you call it mediumship without fluff. Not too sure where that come from, but it's been in my comments a couple of times. This is a natural, beautiful ability within all. The American Indians who would go out there and sit with Mother Nature and merge their own energies, their own souls with that created them. They call it the web of life. And they knew and understood that they were part of that web of life. And everything around them was part of them, as they were part of it. They understood this very fact. Anyway, I hope I didn't make it too complicated with the water and the glass thing. I don't know where that came from, but it just came. But I wish you all the best on your journey. And you are an individual. And your method of communication with energy, with spirit, is as individual as you are. Please do not allow, well, we can call it the fluff if you like, to cause you confusion, to put you on the wrong track. Sit with spirit and learn, and do it your way. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Sorry if it went on a bit long, but it's important, I think, that you start with that blank canvas, because you will move on a lot faster starting from scratch. You will be more at peace with what you're trying to achieve. You will reduce the frustration that many of you feel after doing a number of courses and reading books and all sorts of things. Be yourself, because that's who spirit want to communicate with, self. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and please like, please subscribe, and if you'd like to learn my methods and work with me, I do one-to-one teaching on Patreon. I'll put the link in the description. If it's something you'd like to do, that would be great. And it's something I do on a one-to-one basis. I don't send you a load of videos or anything like that to watch, because that isn't how you learn mediumship. That is a set method for people to work with, and for me, I don't think that's the best way forward, because there are no set rules. We are natural beings trying to enhance a natural ability, but we are all different. And when I work with my students, and the more I work with my students, I've learned just how individual you are, and things that work for one are a real struggle for another, but there are other ways, and that normally is just allowing the student to be themselves and just guide them using that personality of self to move forward with their mediumship, and just teaching them to a degree, of allowing that natural self to be the tool to help them to become better mediums. So I'm going to go. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you all again very soon. So have a lovely evening, and bye for now.